Hello and welcome to our next step in our 12th night journey. And again, a reminder to like, subscribe, notification bell, look at my other videos, all of that good stuff that you really know to do already, I'm sure. Without further ado, let's move on to our next scene. So we've done scene 1, scene 2, we're going into act 1, scene 3 now. And the next two scenes are actually pretty short. So we've got introduction of more characters here. Sir Toby and Mariah, so Sir Toby Belch. So this scene is interesting for lots of reasons. It in some ways parallels what we've seen already with Orsino. And Orsino, we know that he wanted excess of it in terms of love, didn't he? Living to excess. Toby lives to excess, Sir Toby I should say. Let's not be disrespectful. Sir Toby lives to excess in terms of alcohol. He really is a big boozer, let's say it like that. And we've also got Mariah in this scene, who is the servant of Olivia. And we're also introduced to Sir Andrew Aguecheek as well in a moment too. So, opening of the scene starts with Sir Toby. Again, it's media res, Shakespeare using media res halfway through the conversation straight away. And Toby's philosophy, Shakespeare sums up Toby's philosophy here very succinctly. I'm sure care's an enemy to life. So he's obviously somebody who likes to drink, he likes to party. He's not worried about health or anything like detrimental effects of that, or actually the effects of it on anybody else, actually, either, as well as himself. So he's really concerned with partying to excess. And we've talked about Twelfth Night as a festival before. Twelfth Night was a big party of Shakespeare's time, the 12th night of Christmas, massive parties involving roles being swapped, role reversal, games, and obviously excess, and including excess with alcohol. Their alcohol would be stronger than modern alcohol, like by average as well. So it would be, very, very headache-inducing parties. Shakespeare quickly establishes the relationship very efficiently of characters in the scene. So Mariah there, your cousin, my lady. So we're getting an idea of the social structure here. You might be intrigued to see how familiar Maria is with Sir Toby. He's obviously a higher social class. There does actually have some connections to things later on as well. So it takes great exceptions to your ill hours. He's been coming in late. He's been out drinking. He comes in late. He comes in late drunk. And there's a lot of interesting exchange here, mainly about slight misunderstandings, because Sir Toby's actually drunk again. So there are some mild misunderstandings here for comedy purposes. I'll confine myself no finer than I am, as in I'm not going to restrict myself. He's kind of misunderstanding it as in these clothes are good enough to drink in, and so be these boots too. So he's fine to go out drinking in these clothes. In confinement, the idea of wearing things, that's what Shakespeare's drawing on there. Mariah's concerned for Sir Toby that quaffing and drinking will undo you. You could also link this to the idea of like crossing boundaries as well, where you've got a sense of everything's fine in moderation. If you cross a particular boundary, it can become incredibly damaging. Then we're introduced to Sir Andrew Aguecheek, and I should have said as well, like Sir Toby, his surname is Sir Toby Belch. So Shakespeare will occasionally use aptronyms, as in names that suit the characters. You see these in lots of films and novels, and Dickens is big on aptronyms, of course. You've also got characters whose personality suits their names, and vice versa, I suppose. And Aguecheek is an ague is an illness. And cheek, it can mean face, but it's probably bum cheek here, basically. So these are comedy characters. So Toby Belch, obviously belching, burping. He's as tall a man as any in Illyria. This is a double meaning. He's meant to be a very tall, thin character. And he's also, it's meant to be courageous, actually, tall as man. It's meant to be, as in, like, we still say things like stand tall, like being confident. That's the kind of rough evolution of the word, tracing it back. So it kind of still connects. It still kind of makes sense in that way. You could see here plenty of like non sequiturs, really. So Toby, because of his drinking, he doesn't seem to answer straight. So non sequiturs are, in this case, it's things that just don't follow. So he's as tall a man as any in the area. What's that to the purpose? Why is 3,000 ducats a year? That's money. So he's very rich. So it doesn't all connect. So non sequiturs are like that. So Toby, in response to Mariah's criticism of Sir Andrew, basically he's a fool. We don't really want him around. Toby says, well, look, he does all these things. He plays viol de gamboys, which is a special type of a viola. You see, Shakespeare, you see, viola, musical instrument. Even though very unlikely a knight would actually play that musical instrument, so this is probably a lie. Well, it's, yeah, pretty much certainly a lie. So Toby is hyping up Sir Andrew, and he's got all these qualities, well, he claims he has these qualities that he actually hasn't got. Speaks 3 or 4 languages word for word without book, and hath all the good gifts of nature. So he's being, his qualities are being very exaggerated. Maria, anyway, well, Shakespeare has Maria counter this with, again, these are like more realistic qualities of he's a great quarreller, as in argue, and then also he's a coward as well, and yeah, so this is more realistic. By this hand, there are scoundrels and some tractors that say so of him. Who are they? They that add moreover, he's drunk nightly in your company. So the local gossips be going around that Sir Toby and Sir Andrew are boozing it up. They're getting drunk every night. And Sir Toby, again, makes out that this is drinking health to my niece. Yeah, that's why they're drinking so much, because they're raising a toast to Olivia all the time. So if you're into some of your speech terms, you can think about Shakespeare wouldn't have known this term because it didn't exist when he did it, but he's breaking the maxim of quality, which is effectively another way. It's a fancy way of saying a lie. Then we have Sir Andrew actually appears himself, and Sir Toby is meant to be a short, fat character. Sir Andrew is meant to be a tall, thin character. It's that classic comedy double act. You get this time and time again through history. There'll be future double acts like this where there's a tall, thin one and a short, fat one. It's just going to repeat through the ages. It's just one of those motifs of comedy, or a comedy trope more than a motif, actually. It's more of a trope, a recurring comedy trope. Then, as in a pattern. So we've got more comic interaction here between the 3 characters. Then Andrew, I can't even speak. Sir Andrew is introduced to Maria, and he's told to accost Sir Andrew. Accost, that's diacope term, fans. So it's been given as an instruction, and if you're not sure what it means, thankfully for you, Sir Toby actually explains what it means down here as well. Good mistress accost, I desire better acquaintance. Shakespeare here does what modern comedians do, and comedians throughout time have done, which is exploit a sense of pragmatics, which is a strange term, but pragmatics always means context and implied meanings. So a lot of jokes run on misunderstanding ideas or taking words literally, or in this case, we've got a very similar thing here. So he thinks it's her name, good mistress accost, I desire better acquaintance. We've been introduced, Sir Toby introduced us, or obviously Shakespeare did, but we were given the impression from Sir Toby that Sir Andrew is a sophisticated, intelligent man, and he's not. Then we have the definition I mentioned earlier on: front her, board her, woo her, assail her. These are actually quite nautical metaphors here, actually, Shakespeare's using, but it's parallel phrasing as well. So the idea is, it's like, to charm her, chat her up, basically. That's what accost is. By my troth, I would not undertake her in this company. Again, exploiting pragmatics. Sir Andrew maybe is thinking that Sir Toby is suggesting it's something a bit more physical. Let's phrase this delicately for YouTube. Something a little bit more physical, and that's why you get a comedy line there. Well, I'm not going to do that in front of everybody. It's a little joke. And he doesn't understand. And is that the meaning of accost? And he's wrong completely. And thou let part so, Sir Andrew, would thou mightst never draw a sword again. This is just meant to be between Sir Toby and Sir Andrew, really as masculine speech where they're talking about a woman and they're talking about a woman they find attractive. And this is going to be most likely, again as well, sexual innuendo. If you think, if you let her go, you might as well never get your sword out again. And I don't really need to spell out to you what sword might mean, do I? Again, for YouTube purposes, yeah, I'll let you fill in the gaps there. And you part so mistress, I might never draw sword again. He actually repeats it, and he's again, it's a comedy thing because there's a boundary crossed there because he's repeating something that was really meant to be private between the two men there. Now he said it as if it was a prompt from Satobi to interact with her and to romance her in a way. Not really seriously romance her, just to be kind of charming romantically, because Satobi wants Sir Andrew to marry his niece. But it's not out of any kind of great kindness or anything. It's because Sir Andrew's rich, and if he gets Sir Andrew to marry Olivia, then Satobi will be able to manipulate Sir Andrew and get more money and fund his partying lifestyle. So Satobi, keep an eye on Satobi because he's not quite necessarily as much as the likeable, fun-loving character as he seems. I think by the end of the play, you'll see what I mean. You might know already. So we have some more Shakespearean wordplay. Fair lady, do you think you have fools in hand? So that's being Sir Andrew there, or Shakespeare is having Sir Andrew say, more figuratively, saying you have fools at hand. Do you think you got fools in front of you? So I have not you by the hand. Mary said, but you shall have, and here's my hand. So this is again exploiting pragmatics, as you're saying, do you think you got fools in hand? Well, I haven't got you by the hand, and that's again use of pragmatics implying, yeah, you're a fool. And then Sir Andrew said, yes, but you can have my hand. So really, you've got Sir Andrew just reinforcing the idea of him being a fool. And again, Shakespeare is establishing Maria as a character. Obviously, it was in Shakespeare's time, it was male actors playing the female roles. But in terms of the era, look at Maria as a female character, as a character construct. She's very intelligent. She runs rings around these two effectively, and particularly Sir Andrew, but she's much more sensible than Sir Toby, who is of higher social status as well. Now, this bit's going to be difficult to talk about because, again, YouTube, but you've got more sexual innuendo here. I pray you, bring your hand to the buttery bar and let it drink. I'm not going to spell this out on YouTube. I'll get in trouble. So I will leave it to your imagination. Let me just say to you, yeah, it's sexual innuendo. You can work out how, right? That's what I'm leaving that. I'm leaving that bit. And if you don't believe me, read on, and then, yeah. If you don't believe me, just watch. Wherefore, sweetheart, what's your metaphor? Wherefore means why. Wherefore, sweetheart, what's your metaphor? It's dry, sir. Well, I think so. I'm not such an ass. I can keep my hand dry. But what's your jest? A dry jest, sir. So, yeah, you look at all of this here. Yeah, okay, I'm not going to say anymore. Off goes Maria. Oh, night, thou lackst a cup of canary. That's not a cup full of a bird. That would be, or the feathers would get in your mouth. It's actually a cup of, it's Madeira wine, actually, wine from the Canary Islands. So it's pretty strong, actually. So they're boozing it up again. Then we were told, remember how we were told earlier on that Sir Andrew speaks lots of languages? He doesn't understand what pourquoi means. So any of you who study French or speak French, you know that also means why. Do or not do, I would have bestowed that time in the tongues that I have in fencing, dancing and bear baiting. Oh, I had but followed the arts. So these are all leisure activities. Bear baiting was very popular. It is as the name suggests, like taunting a bear for entertainment. That's entertainment. Yeah, taunting bears. It was a brutal age. Then we see some vanity from Sir Andrew there as well, talking about his hair. I'm going to skip to this bit where there's more sexual innuendo here. Well, I don't know. It's actually not even innuendo. It's pretty obvious. Excellent. It hangs like flax on a distaff, and I hope to see a huswife take thee between her legs and spin it off. Well, that's prostitute. So again, you could do all the rest of explaining all that bit, but yeah, more sexual innuendo. So you're getting an idea of what Sir Toby and Sir Andrew, what their life is like. It's bawdy is one word of summing it up. Then we have Andrew's losing confidence. The Count himself here hard by woos her. She'll none of the Count. She'll not match above her degree, neither in estate, years, nor wit. So she's not going to marry. She's not interested in the Count. She's not going to marry someone higher social status than her. I've heard her say it. Tut, there's life in it, man. He said, don't give up. But really, it's Sir Toby's own self-interest for Sir Andrew to marry Olivia. It's not out of any concern he's got for Olivia, and it's certainly not out of any concern for Sir Andrew. Then there's lots of more references to masks and revels. So these are more parties, more types of party. Dancing, kickshaws we've got here, galliard, cut a caper, back trick. These are all a variety of dancing. So Sir Andrew is, even though he is a knight, he's really like you get this in the modern age, where he's not really like a sort of medieval knight where you imagine, you fight a dragon or something, then you're knighted. Even though obviously, disclaimer, I know dragons aren't real. But a bit more like how you've become a knight in the modern age, which is donate a lot of money to a political party. So in those days, Sir Andrew must have donated a lot of money to whoever would be. Maybe it was the Duke, I don't know, but probably not. Someone higher than that. Someone whoever's able to knight him. So he's donated money to the state in some way, and then in recognition of that, he's been knighted. So I don't know about Sir Toby. Sir Toby may have done the same thing, or it may be just because he is obviously related to Olivia, so he's a noble of some form anyway. Well, his family are nobles of some form, and he's a knight anyway. So there's some kind of connection there. But Sir Andrew, it seems to be more that, and judging by he only does these frivolous things. He doesn't do anything that's really serious. So that is it for scene 3. So I'm going to stop there. So all the good stuff. Like, comment, subscribe, notification bell. Check out my other videos. Stay tuned for more. And I will see you on the next one. Thank you and goodbye.